Hello, everybody. Gatling Golduck back again for more Steven Universe Future coverage. And we're on to episodes 13 and 14 now. And, these episodes were interesting, to say the least. They were very, I'm gonna keep it 100% with you guys. I was in shock for most of my time watching these episodes, because I was just baffled by what I was witnessing before me. I didn't really know how to react. I was just confused. And I guess as this video goes on, I will explain why. Anyway, let's hit the road then, shall we, with Steven Universe Future episodes 13 and 14.
So we've got our absolute favorite titular character of all time here. Just after he got off the phone with his girlfriend, basically still feeling like he's drifting away from Connie. Like, I thought that we established in, like, the last episode that Steven, like, told her that he was, like, losing her. I thought that we made this aware. Have the two of them not talked about it? Actually, wait a minute. I just realized something. Because, like, Steven says, like, later in this episode that I don't know what material you've been studying, but Stevani does. Okay, so fusion is a weird enough concept as it is, and I really don't want to get that in depth with it. But wouldn't that mean that if Stevani knows what Connie knows when she's studying, wouldn't that mean that Stevani also knows what's going on inside of Steven's head in these last 13 episodes? Because, like, that sort of ability to share brain space with somebody, that's really bizarre or a concept to handle. So, like, I don't really understand how that's meant to work. Would it be like they only maintain that knowledge when they are Stevani, and when they unfuse, they don't maintain that knowledge? Or do they only know what the one knows for the entire duration? Then how is it balanced out? Because Stevani was doing some insane shit on the roller rink. So how does it balance? Where do they find the middle ground? Is it like a mix of what the two can and can't do then? Or is it... Okay, oh god, I just said that I don't want to get too much into fusion as a concept. It's just, fusion is so weird. It really is. Just like the very concept of fusion alone is so bizarre, and it comes with so many implications. Like, nobody can seem to understand what fusion is meant to represent. Some think that it's sexual, some think that it's meant to represent relationships, whether it be like platonic or romantic. I don't really want to throw my hat in the ring for that endeavor. I just want to talk about the mechanics of it. And the mechanics of fusion in particular are just very bizarre, because it's like two personalities in the same body, and except when it isn't. Like, I don't know how fusion's meant to work, like, particularly when it comes to Garnet and Ruby and Sapphire. Like, sometimes when Stevani's talking to themselves, like, Stevani's acts like it's Connie and Steven both at the same time. But, like, when Garnet is, like, talking, like later on in this episode, she even says, like, you can't trust romance advice from those two hopeless romantics. So would Garnet be like a completely different person from those two then? Or how does that work? How does fusion work? This is one of the things that bothers me about this series so much, is that the rules are very flimsy. They don't take the time to explain a lot of the rules of these things, and particularly fusion, because blending two beings into one isn't exactly straightforward. It's just, I don't know. I really don't know how that's meant to work. And also, Steven's sitting here, he just turned pink because apparently in the next episode, they're going to say that the reason Steven's been, like, getting these powers is because he's, like, struggling with the trauma of his past, and he's losing, like, his past connections. which I don't really see what that has to do with stopping a roller coaster or with his mother being brought up. I guess that would trigger trauma, but Pearl was standing right next to him at the time, and like Amethyst was with him when the roller coaster thing happened. So what's this about him losing connections? And that's not even true. Most of the connections that he has are still there. He just refuses to reach out to them. So which is it? Is Steven scared to talk to these people, or does he feel like he's losing them? Because like he's clearly not losing Peridot. He's not losing Connie. He hasn't lost Amethyst. He hasn't lost Pearl. He hasn't lost Garnet. We don't even see what they're really doing. We just know that they're like teaching. That's all we know. So why does Steven feel like he's losing those connections? Because they're still around. He can literally teleport to these people because like they have warp pads pretty much everywhere they go. Why does he feel like this? I don't get it. And also he just sort of sank into his bed when he turned pink here. Does it increase his weight without increasing his mass? I thought that gems were supposed to be light. If this is part of his gem side, then how does that work? Okay. The rules of this power don't make any sense. I don't get it. You guys are gonna have to bear with me because like full picture clips of like the episodes like as a whole haven't really been uploaded to YouTube like in any form. So if the visuals don't match up with the scenes that I'm talking about, I sincerely apologize. It's just how I have to work with it as of right now. But anyway, so I'm going to talk about this. I'm talking about the scene specifically right after the one I just did where Steven walks downstairs, talks to Garnet, and she unfuses. And Sapphire says, "I'm late for my lecture on alternate timelines." Why would you give a lecture on alternate timelines to a bunch of gems that can't see the future? Like how does that benefit them to know about alternate timelines when you can't see them? Like what good does that knowledge do them when it comes to like probability and stuff? Like they can't see the future. How does that work? I don't know. That's a smaller thing, but I just felt like bringing it up. Again, I'm very sorry for the visual quality. It's just this is all I have to work with right now. Okay, so I am so confused because we've been trying to be fed this like narrative that Steven like he feels like he can't talk to people and that like he's losing his connections and stuff like that. Like he feels like he can't talk to them because they've got their own things going on. What is he doing in this scene? He's talking to Ruby about his problems. He's trying to get Ruby's advice for a problem that he has because he feels like he's losing Connie, that he doesn't know what to do with his life. He's talking to Ruby about his problems. So what is this nonsense narrative that he feels like he can't talk to people? And also in like Cactus, the episode like with Cactus Steven was saying that he doesn't want another like high and mighty lecture from Garnet. And yet the first thing he does in this episode after talking to Connie is he tries to get Garnet's advice. Like, I don't understand, Steven. Why do you keep flip-flopping? What is your motive here? Why are you acting the way that you are? I don't get it. You say that you don't want high and mighty advice from Garnet. The first thing you don't want a lecture from Garnet. What do you try to do in this episode? Try to get advice from Garnet. And then you're like talking about how you feel like you can't talk to people, like you just losing your connections. You're talking to Ruby right now. Where is this nonsense narrative come from? Where is it coming from? I don't get it. How are they trying to run with this narrative that Steven feels like he's so alone when he's clearly not alone? And they're giving us reasons for why he feels like he's alone, or like he's pushing people away. But he's contradicting those reasons. I said it before, and I'm standing by it. I'm telling you guys, wherever this season goes, it's gonna be contrived, because this sort of thing is happening right now And I don't get it. Steven, why do you keep freaking just changing your motives and changing your reasoning and changing this narrative? Why are you the way that you are? I don't understand this show. And Ruby just suggested that Steven propose to Connie. This was the point in the episode where I was just in shock, like thinking to myself, they can't possibly be going this route, can they? They can't possibly be making Steven that stupid, can they? Well, I guess they're finally pulling some consistency by continuing to make their characters stupid. And Ruby's no exception to this because I'm not a fan of the, like, concept behind the idea of, like, Ruby's being stupid. I'm not a fan of that concept, and even then, that concept is somewhat inconsistent. Like, I don't understand. Are Rubies dumb, or are they not? Because I didn't get the impression that Ruby was stupid. Like, I've never got the impression that Ruby was stupid. And I don't understand why she thinks that proposing is a good idea. And Garnet's like, you can't take advice from those two hopeless romantics. You are those two hopeless romantics. So why are you more mentally, like, capable then? I don't get it. How does fusion work? And just, oh my God. And again, I'm not a fan of the whole Rubies are stupid, like, writing concept as it is. And just, that's weird that that's one of the few things they remain consistent on. Whatever, it's just like this whole stigma that Rubies are dumb, and they apply it whenever they see it sees fit to their plot, and this seems to be the case here too. And also Steven being stupid, I guess they're just making that part of his character too. Just like, hey, yeah, I'm 16, Connie's 14, I'm gonna ask her to marry me? Okay. Sure. Like, what? Why? And this is another thing that's gonna bother the hell out of me for the next episode, because the entire reason that Steven has like an emotional breakdown in episode 14 is because he's moping around because Connie rejected his marriage proposal, even though in this episode she didn't reject his proposal. She said, not today. That means that she will marry you someday, just not now because she's not ready and you're both children. And the entire next episode after this one is based around the premise that Steven is moping around like in an emotional slump because his girlfriend denied his marriage request. That entire next episode is hinging on that concept. And it's just like, it's birthed out of stupidity. That entire premise is birthed out of Ruby, Sapphire, and Steven being dumb. And I hate it. I don't get it. Why do they insist on writing this way where they make characters stupid to make the plot move forward? I don't get it. Another power that really doesn't make any sense is Sapphire's future vision. Just like, personally, anything that has to do with like time travel, time manipulation, anything like that, that is a very dangerous and slippery slope. And honestly, I'm not fond of like time travel premises as it is. Like, I'm really not fond of that. And even like gazing into the future, like that is a very broken power. And honestly, I really don't understand how it's meant to work, because like sometimes Garnet says that the future is ever changing, and sometimes they're saying like some things are just meant to happen, and sometimes things like cannot be seen in the foreseeable future. Like they just alter the course of history. Like, what? Okay, so Sapphire's saying that she couldn't see Ruby's proposal coming. I don't understand why. Why? Was that so unlikely? Because, like, later on in this episode, Garnet says, like, there was no future that you didn't propose to Connie, which is bullshit. If time is ever changing, that there was a future where Connie got wiped out by an asteroid just as Steven pulled up to her house. That's not how it... I don't understand how this time thing is meant to work. Because, like, when it comes to, like, time, really, it's, again, it's such a messy concept because it's so hard to say that certain things are set in stone. especially with like gazing into the future. Like that's a very complicated concept, and it just works based on odds and chance. And like Sapphire is saying here that like I'm seeing, like, I can't see the result of your proposal, but later on Garnet says there was no future where you proposed to Connie, where you didn't propose to Connie, my mistake. Could she not see past that point? Like, I don't understand how this is meant to work. I don't understand this future vision power, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. And this entire episode is also hinging on this, her future vision not working. So that's nice. All right. Like, again, this is a very abusable power, and I don't understand why Garnet doesn't use it all the time. And then, like, it's saying, like, oh, but it's not accurate, but it's super accurate to the point where, oh, Jesus. But it's also super accurate to the point where frickin' Garnet can block a lightning bolt that's coming for Steven. Like, I don't understand how this power is meant to work. I don't get it. You literally have a teleporting lion and can come see Connie whenever you want. Why do you feel like you're losing her when you can literally teleport to her? Watching this scene, I was just sitting here thinking to myself, okay, this is kind of cute, but you know, it would have been nice to see like something like this when it, like earlier, I suppose, like to see Steven and Connie like actually spending time as like boyfriend and girlfriend. Like, I don't know, with the amount of filler episodes that they threw in there, you think you could at least dedicate some time to developing like their romantic relationship at least. Like, at least giving a bit more time to it. Because, like, this was really cute. And honestly, I don't know. This is sort of a minor thing in the grand scheme. And just kind of, honestly, it would have been nice if we saw more of their relationship, you know? Just saw more of Steven and Connie's, like, romantic relationship rather than just, I don't know. Again, this is a minor thing. I'm just thinking, like, it's cute. All right, but just the context surrounding this scene where I'm just sitting here with dread, thinking to myself, okay, when's he going to pull out the ring and when is this going to go south? Because I know, or at least I hoped, Connie was sensible enough to say, like, no, because I don't get it. Like, Steven is like going insane, I guess, at this point because he thinks that this was a good idea. I don't know who at the writing staff thought this was a good idea, let alone Steven thinking this was a good idea. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I can understand, like, feeling, like, apart from, like, your significant other, like, feeling apart from them, like, you're distant, like, or you're feeling disconnected. But if you can teleport to each other, then that's sort of minimized, isn't it? Like, if you can literally teleport to each other, like, distance isn't really a problem. Just saying. And of course Connie reacted this way because she's 14 and she is just trying to study for college. She's not ready to get married and she is not old enough to get married. Steven, I don't know why you thought that this was a good idea. I don't know why the writers thought this was a good idea. I don't know why Ruby and Sapphire thought this was a good idea, but Garnet thought that it wouldn't work. Or something like that. I don't know what Garnet thought would happen. Did she see what happened? What happened? I don't get it. I don't understand this. This very concept of an episode just boggles my mind. Who thought this was a good idea? It is perfectly reasonable for Connie to say no to this out of nowhere and insane proposal request. But she does the sweet thing where she says it's a not now. That's a subtle promise to marry you. Like, that's what that is. That's very sweet of Connie to do, actually, and I like that. It makes sense for her to say something like that. It shows how much she cares about Steven and that she might not be ready to marry him now, but she will someday. That's a very sweet and subtle and sort of like subtle thing about her character. But of course, this is the basis for Steven having an entire mental breakdown, so there's that. And of course, Connie is trying to be supportive and like help Steven, like just like help him understand her choice and her decision here. But when she's trying to explain herself and like her timer goes off, Steven's like, "No, go home. It's okay. You can you should just go study. It's all right." Like, I can understand like he's hurt, but Connie loves you and she wants to be there for you, just not in that way. Like, I really don't understand what they're going for here. I don't even know how they're going to resolve this, for the record. Like, if Connie's saying, like, it's not now, like, and that doesn't work for Steven, then how are they going to resolve this? Is she going to have to say yes? I don't know what they're going to do with this, and I don't understand how they're going to resolve this, and honestly, I don't think I want to see how they resolve this. They're teetering on a very dangerous seesaw, let's just say it at that. Everyone's getting married but me. Once again, Steven is blowing things out of proportions to suit the narrative. How many people do you know that have gotten married, Steven? This one cartoon dog and Ruby and Sapphire. That's it. That's a cartoon character and the only two people that you actually know that got married. It's not everyone. And you're blowing things out of proportion just to suit this whole "you're losing your mind" narrative. Yeah, I'm on episode 14, by the way. Sorry I didn't exactly transition between them. I'm just sort of mentally just like, okay, just why at this point? Just why? One convenient thing happening after another to make it seem like Steven doesn't have any support around, and yet again he's feeling like he can't talk to people, even though that's what he just did in the last episode. Like, goodness sake, I don't understand Steven's, like, motives here. Like, this is your father. He's been someone that you can talk to when, like, the gems wouldn't understand. Same goes for Connie, for the record. Like, you have support people that have been there for you since day one, and they'll still set aside time for you. Like, I don't understand this. Connie, I appreciate you being sensible and, like, aware and noticing that something is clearly wrong with Steven. Like, when it's painfully obvious, like, he's glowing and, like, his body parts are randomly growing in size and shape. And it's just, I appreciate that, but why do you think that your mother will be able to help with this? Like, I don't understand. Why do you think a human doctor will be able to help with some sort of condition that's making someone magically glow and change their size? I don't get it. Why did you think that was a good idea? So this is their scene attempting to address Steven's mental state and actually explain it. So for once, we have someone actually talking to Steven about what's going on with him. And it's just like, this is the explanation that they're going with, is that like he's got some sort of weird gem equivalent going on responding to trauma. I don't understand if this is meant to be something that's exclusive to him because, like, he's a gem-human hybrid, which might be the case. I don't know. They don't explain that. But I wonder, is this a thing that's among other gems? Because if trauma was a thing that, like, made gems rapidly change in their form, you'd think that that would happen to someone like, I don't know, Lapis, for example, considering everything she's been through. Like, you'd think that would be something that would affect her in a way. If this is what's happening to Steven, like, his body's responding to trauma because of, like, horrible past experiences. You could say the same thing about Lapis, and frankly, I don't understand how this is meant to work. Why would trauma make your body rapidly shapeshift out of control? And if this is going to segue into Steven becoming that big worm caterpillar thing in the theme song, I'm going to have even more questions, because how the hell does that work? I don't get it. I don't understand how this is meant to work. I'm so confused. I'm so confused. again, with this losing established relationships thing, that's, again, bullshit. That's not the case. But also, I'd like to point out that this episode is basically villainizing Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl. Garnet and Pearl particularly, because they're the ones that have acted like his parental figures to Steven for most of his, like, adolescent life. And this is basically saying, yeah, pretty much the reason that Steven is becoming this monster is all their fault. And it's basically saying, like, they are horrible parents, like, putting a child in danger, like, with reckless abandon. Like, granted, Steven has put himself in danger a handful of times as well. But they also have basically, Garnet in particular has ended up putting Steven in the line of danger. And that makes me wonder, wait a second, if this is what they were going for, and they're saying, like, Steven's responding to trauma, like, even minor threats are making him, like, transform like this, like, what about when the gems spat fire at him in the Steven tag episode? What about that? Wouldn't that sort of have that similar reaction, particularly when it's someone you trust attacking you? Because his pink power didn't go off. So how does this power work? Is it responding to trauma or is it not? I don't get it. This power doesn't make any sense, and this is the episode that's meant to explain it. And it still doesn't make any sense. I hate this show so much. Once again, this is showing why Connie has been shoved to the sidelines for this entire season, because the moment that she sees something is wrong with Steven, she informs Greg about it. And she's being the sensible one, and I hate the fact that they've shoehorned her out of this season to make it so that she can't be around to be a supportive source for Steven, and just so that he can spiral out of control. And the moment that he starts spiraling and she sees it, she gets Greg involved, his father, someone that should know about what's going on with his son. And he deserves to know about these sort of things, and Connie made the right call. And Greg manages to help Steven calm down and tries to support him. Because Greg is a good father who cares about his son. I hate that this show shoves characters that make rational decisions to the side for the sake of the plot. I hate it so much. Like, we need to get rid of these characters, otherwise our story won't function. We need to get them out of here, otherwise we can't have a plot. Then write a better story. If the story that you're writing requires the main characters to be stupid and every character that makes rational decisions to be pushed to the side, rewrite, redraft, write a better story. You can do these things. You can write good material with smart characters. It is not that complicated. You do not need to make your characters stupid to have a plot. And if your plot doesn't work without your characters being stupid, then you're doing something wrong. I hate this show so much. This is some very heavy stuff that Steven is sharing with his father right now, and I swear, if they come up with some method to write Greg out of the next few episodes just for the sake of having Steven break, I'm gonna be pissed. Greg, once again, being a supportive and sensible father figure, saying, it's okay to make mistakes, Steven. That's part of growing up. You're going to make mistakes when you're trying to figure out what you want to do with your life, and that's okay. I'm going to be here to support you through it, through thick and thin. Because Greg is trying to be supportive of his son when he's going through hard times. It makes too much sense, and I'm so scared that they're going to somehow shove Greg out of the next few episodes for the sake of making the plot move forward again. The plot, air quotes, because this is hardly a plot. It's just bullshit after bullshit. And honestly, I feel like I'm about to snap like Steven. Like this show climaxes, I'm gonna lose it just like he is. Oh man. Like just so you guys know, like when I get really angry at this show, it's not like I'm like, yeah, I'm frustrated, but like it's honestly fun for me to talk about shows like this, and just like it's very cathartic for me in a way to get mad at cartoons. I don't know. I just want to let you guys know, like, don't worry about me. I'm not gonna be like Steven and freaking try and lose my mind. I don't know. It's just, this show is stupid. and I have fun talking shit about it. And that does it for Steven Universe Future episodes 13 and 14. Good Lord, what a disaster. I'm telling you guys that this show, the ending is gonna be a clusterfuck. That's what it's gonna be. And I am not prepared for it. But anyway, I just want to say thank you guys so much for supporting me through this show and just being active, talking with me in the comment section. I really enjoy the conversations that I get to have with you guys, talking about writing, brainstorming ideas, just getting engaged with you guys. It's so much fun for me. I just love this sort of sense of camaraderie that we have going on. And honestly, in the future, I hope to open up a Discord server so that we can do more of that, in a more concise manner, because the comment section isn't honestly the greatest format for having conversations. But honestly, I love the fact that I've been able to interact with you guys to the extent that I have. And thank you all so much for watching as usual. And I'm so glad that you guys enjoy the silly content that I put out. It really does mean the world to me. So I just wanted to let you guys know that again. Thank you all so much as usual for watching. I'm sorry for the visual hiccups and stuff and etc. going on in this video. Just had to work with what I got. Hopefully, I don't know, I might end up renting episodes in the future as they come out on YouTube. That's probably the smartest way to go from now on. But basically, that does it for this episode, folks. I'm probably not going to be too active this coming week because I've got relatives visiting. But otherwise, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next Sunday as usual. Thank you all so much as usual. Goodbye.